Good evening, everyone, and welcome. We are Random Encounter Productions. I'm Cody Stone, and with me tonight we have... That's you, Caro. That's you.
Oh, hi. Sorry, I forgot the order. Hi, I'm Elliot, and I'm playing Caro, and yeah, it's been a couple weeks, so it's been a good time, and I'm so happy to be back. You can find me on the internet at KS Elliot or KS Them, and yeah, glad to be back.
And you, did you say what class or specialty
yes.
you are?
I am playing a Whisper, and I have the Iron Will, so I am immune to the terror that some entities inflict, and or on sight, usually that is when that happens. So I also get a plus D1 when I gather information about the supernatural. So I'm good. I'm just ambiguously just chilling with ghosts.
Sounds good. Up next we have...
I'm Cedric Vale. I will be playing a spider that can make ghost contracts that are binding, and they have to adhere to them, or bad things happen. On the reverb side too, for me. I'm known as Aiden TSK, and I'm starting Stream Up. I got a video, but there'll be a lot more to come. So check me out on Twitch.
Nice. Looking forward to those. Up next, Darian.
Hey everyone, I'm Darian. I am playing the indomitable Throm Sturman. He is a slide, and he goes by the nickname of Little Tommy Two Teats. And he can pretty much make you do what he wants, and what he wants is to get rich real quick. So let's see if we can make this happen.
All right.
Hi, I'm Hikaru. I am playing as Nephthys, who is a lurk, and yeah, pretty much I just want to well, actually, if you haven't tuned in from last time, I'm actually pretty sick today, so I'm gonna not be as rambunctious as I was the first time we played. But yeah, I just want to kill things, pretty much. I want to get the job done as quickly as possible, and the less people that are in the way, the faster that happens.
Sounds good. Last but not least.
I'm Mo, Executive Werewolf in the chat, Werewolf Exec on Twitter. I'm playing Odysseus Valentin, who is another Whisperer and secret lover of a vampire. That's my weirdness. That's the level of weirdness that I function at. And yeah.
Fantastic. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. This is Blades in the Dark. It is our second episode of Blades in the Dark. We had to take a couple of weeks off as myself and Chaos Pixie Magic, or Caitlin, as she is sometimes known around the internet, have been dealing with some stuff. And I would like to start tonight by just taking a moment and saying to everybody that is in the chat, all of the viewers, anybody that may watch this on the VODs, and most specifically to all of our community members that have been helping us out recently. You guys have been absolutely phenomenal and, honest to goodness, lifesavers. I was talking with Pixie today, and I know you come for the role play, but you stay for the deep 2010 community references. I told her at some point today that we were sort of like the Pierce's birth of 30-year-olds. There's an episode where there's a boat, and Pierce goes, at some point when I was being born, my umbilical cord got wrapped around my arms, neck, and leg, and the doctor just stopped delivering me and started laughing. And our luck feels about that good over the past few weeks. But we have had some real shining moments of charity, of support, of love, of friendship, and those moments make all the difference. Even just the small messages of people reaching out and saying that it's going to be okay and that things are going to get better mean everything to me, and I know they mean as much or more to Pixie. So I will probably be repeating this on every stream I do this week because Pixie is out of town. She is going to Lexington Toy and Comic Book Convention, and that is going to be a good time. So if you're in the area, go check her out this weekend. I'm going to try to do some extra streams to help fill our pixie-shaped void in our days and hearts. And part of that, I am super excited to be spending here tonight with these scoundrels, these lovable scoundrels. So thank you all tremendously. With that said, any other big announcements that I need to make for tonight? I don't think so. If I do, I'll do them at the break. Let's get into some Blades in the Dark. So this is a brand new system for us here at the Rep. We are all learning it, so we will definitely at some point stop everything fun that's happening for Cody to spend about 5 minutes scrolling through the book, desperately looking for some sort of rules reference before giving up and making it up. So just be prepared for that, and I hope that you sit back and enjoy tonight's episode of Blades in the Dark. Now, last we saw our intrepid scoundrels. They had rallied around their friend, Renard Goodenough, a thief of middling skill, but of very well-priced services, who was contracted to smuggle a spirit. The spirit of Rorik, the former leader of the Crowsfoot, a gang out of Crowsfoot. The Crows from Crowsfoot. They weren't terribly creative in their naming of the gang. He was betrayed by his second in command, Liza, as they attempted to kill Renard, who was ferrying Rorik's spirit. You all who have done jobs with Renard in the past heeded his summons and helped smuggle him across the canal to the Orderless, which was the destination of Rorik's spirit, the fate of which is yet unknown. Renard, in his gratitude, gave you pretty much all of the proceeds from the heist. You should all have 1 coin to your name, including Throm. That's going to take a moment. In addition, you all have been gifted Renard's setup. His barge, which serves as his mobile headquarters, now yours. It is secured against, I believe, ghost infractions, maybe with some other alarms and alerts to it. The other thing is you have been gifted his contacts, a dinghy or a boat, and he has agreed to stay on as sort of a Alfred to your many Batmans in an effort to help you guys get set up. Now, we did our downtime activities. Some of you engaged in your vices. I believe I think Nephthys was asking about the quality of her dinner date with Renard, which I said we would roll for. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. I will say it is. So it's a 5. 5 is the highest of there. So it went well. I think you guys maybe had to strong arm your way into a restaurant past a late reservation, but it was a delightful time past that little bit of discomfort with the maitre d'. And yes. Oh, don't be scared of the dark. Dyslexic editor. So yeah, thank you guys. So you guys are now set up and preparing to make your next heist, your foray into the true realm of scoundreling. And part of that, sorry, realized that was causing a problem, is keeping abreast of the day's information. And one of the things that you have been hearing about is that it is almost open gang warfare around Crowsfoot. The Tangle, which is traditionally, it's a central portion of the city. It's a bunch of old Leviathan ships and boats lashed together, very much a shipwreck cove sort of place in the middle of this city. The Crows have run it for years, and it served as a neutral territory for most of the underworld. But apparently a large portion of that was Rorik and his diplomatic abilities. With Liza now in control of the Crows, she is a much more brutal and violent runner of this group. And other gangs are beginning to sort of sniff around, right? The Lamp Blacks, the Red... I'm going to say Red Sashes, even though I know that that's specifically from Waterdeep, until I remember what red thing it is. And so Crowsfoot is a bit of a dangerous place right now. But it is your business, as Renard is apt to tell you guys. So you can... chaos, as Renard often says, chaos does bring about opportunity. So there's probably a pretty hefty number of scoundrels, rogues, cutters, and backstabbers looking to move weapons in or out of Crowsfoot, knowing that it can't stay neutral for long. Or we can maybe let that scene play out and die down for a few weeks, maybe see which way the wind blows. I do have a few contacts of some old money that are more old than money, but might have a job or two. There is one particular heiress that has been trying to get in touch with me, Alexandra Sonarian. If that piques your interest, let me know and I will set up the meet. Renard has sort of gathered you guys together in the heart of the barge. What was at one point a large shipping container area definitely serves as your like workshop and planning area. You do have shipping space, but the goods you guys move with your dinghies and with this barge, if anything, it's not large in quantity, and so converting this otherwise big empty room into something more functional just seemed appropriate at the time. You do have rooms here. Some of you have to share, as it is a boat, and while I've never been in the Navy, everything I know is that you sleep in a coffin and on top of somebody else, pretty much. Which is clearly far more exciting for some of you than others. But yeah, this is your pre-heist time for you guys to sort of role play, talk to each other, and to start to inch towards what your heist for tonight is going to be. If we don't finish it tonight, we'll finish it next week. Then we'll do the downtime. So, let's start. You guys are in, I'm imagining, like, the dark steampunk version of the Planet Express meeting table. I don't know why, but that's where my mind is at. Can we go around the table and get descriptions of everybody's character physically and how you handle a meeting like this? Because I've been in a number of them and I was never good at them. I'd have like the notepad drawing, and I'm sure somebody's sketching. There it is, right there. Caro, let's kick off with you.
Cool. So Caro is just kind of actually dressed how I am. They have just like a faded hoodie type thing going on. They have their goggles, and they've got some leggings on that are just kind of cozy. Again, pretty ambiguous and, androgynous in form. They are taking notes as this is going on, and they are making sure that all the information is correct so they can cross-check, in fact, when they do get to the destination. So that is what they are doing in this meeting.
Awesome. Up next.
So I am a male. I have a calm persona, and I wear more of a fierce color scheme. I've got a collared shirt, a long red coat. I also have tall boots and I forget what they're called, but like the black power pants with the stitching seam near the shin and whatnot. I have created a reputation well enough that I don't get taken lightly. Like, if you need a job from me or you need something from me, it better be serious or you're going to be wasting my time. However, that doesn't mean I'm good at it. So as long as Jaren doesn't find out where I'm at, which is basically my rival in the blue coat as an archivist, we have tiff with each other. So as long as it doesn't involve him, down for anything. And I've got maybe a couple people on the side of me that I'm finishing little things out as everyone's gathering, I would assume. But more or less, I've got too much going, and I'm just trying to shoo these two out to get the deal done, and I'm just trying to hush them out.
All right, Darian.
So Throm is kind of all over the place whenever he's in a meeting like this, always moving. He is very tall, classically good looking, and you can tell from the way that he dresses, he definitely knows it. He's got spills of lace, long black tailored coat. He is definitely trying a little bit too hard, but he'd kind of just move around talking to people. He'd always have a quick aside, some kind word or some compliment to everyone that he works with, trying to garner goodwill with them and put him in a good frame of mind. But also, he knows that he might be able to use that later to be like, hey, I've always been nice to you. How about we make a deal?
All right. Nepthys.
I'm not really doing much of anything. I'm not sitting at the table. I'm going to be kind of tucked away on the side like a wall, but I'm still visible for everybody. Just basically lurk being a lurk. I don't have my hood up this time. Usually I wear a cloak, but since we're in the meeting area, my cloak is off. You can see that I am padded with everything so that I don't have any skin showing. It's just all black and gray to help blend in with kind of the dingy nighttime twilight-esque outside. The only thing that is striking is the fact that I have these horns and my hair is blue, but if I go outside, no one can tell because it's dark. But other than that, I'm just doing the same thing as Caro. I'm writing notes whenever somebody says something, but other than that, you'll see me twirling, like, just happily, kind of, just what seems to be a silent but happy face of just twirling a knife in my hand with the one that I'm not using. But yeah, I'm just quiet by myself.
All right. And last but not least, Odysseus.
Odysseus has been sitting at the table this entire time, working on a device. So like nodding when people ask his opinion and like to show that he's listening. But he's got his goggles pulled down. He's wearing a vest over like shirt sleeves rolled up, and has a spirit bottle that he's tinkering with. Like he's trying to make some kind of change to it, and it looks like, for all the world, he's trying to put a clock on this so that it can explode. Like I can set it and it'll explode later. It seems like what he's doing, he should not be doing it at the table, but he's doing it at the table anyway. And his hair, which was already kind of salt and peppery, and just in a complete disarray, he looks kind of like, if I had to give like someone for you to think of when you think of Odysseus, I would think of Egon from Ghostbusters, where he's constantly tinkering with something. But his hair that looked salt and peppery before, he has come back from wherever it was that he went to do his own dalliances, and there is a distinct, like a streak of white in it. It is completely devoid of color.
All right. Renard has just finished offering you guys up sort of the two options to finding work. While you do have 4 coins in your bank, and you each have a coin, I would think of a coin like 100 gold pieces if I was going to transfer it to D&T terms. Maybe 1,000. Like a coin is a chunk. It does a bit. They measure everything by like tenths of a coin, right? By pennies. So, what's more important though is that you all have currently a bit of heat and a bit of reputation from your recent excursion and skirmish with the Orderless and the Bluecoats. So striking while that iron is hot is important. So folks, which way are we leaning?
First, I would like to know your condition. How have you been?
I mean, I'm getting around. I've got, and he holds up his, he's got like this cane that he's been walking around with. It helps. Less in the leg, but really it's just all these abdominal muscles that are pretty shredded at the moment. So standing up straight, a little tougher than I remember, but overall doing fine. I don't think I'm ready to start roof running again, but yeah, I'm doing okay.
Good.
Thank you.
During conversation with him, I'll just shoot one glance at Nephthys, not say a word, look at him and say, good thing you have that cane.
I'm gonna notice that glance because I'm already shifty. This is like, do you have something to say? Because I assure you that was not me.
I could ask him what your skin actually looks like. That's not my business.
That's kind of creepy.
Wait. For context, did you mean his skin or my skin?
Yours, because you went on a date with him.
Oh. Listen, it was just a food date, all right?
I wasn't there. I make my own assumptions.
I'm sure it was lovely.
Oh,
Yeah, the food
on
was
that
good.
bet, Odysseus, and I'll take my coin and flip it straight to you. That's for earlier. And I give Odysseus my coin, because I told you I'd pay you back.
You don't owe me this much. And I'll flip it back.
I'll catch it, and I like your business. Context, is Throm here too? Or is
Yes.
he a
Yeah,
new-age face?
You,
Yes,
so
Throm is pacing.
yes, Throm is here. Throm is pacing. Throm is very social. You guys, you have been introduced to Throm. This for everyone but Caro, I believe this is the first time. No, you've worked with Throm, haven't you?
Yeah,
I've worked with
probably-
everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I know everyone.
Yes, Caro is the linchpin. This is Caro and the Pips, as far as I'm concerned. From now on, no, I'm kidding.
Yes, Coro brought me into this. She is just
They.
here.
They.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, it's good.
But Throm has also done a job with you, Cedric. So yes.
I'll do the thing where you walk by somebody, but right when you get within shoulder blade distance of passing them, I'll drop a low question to Throm and say, Jaren, yes or no.
I'm on the fence, but leaning towards the negative.
Good. It's good to see you. And that's where it'll fade right as I'm passing his other shoulder blade and just act like nothing happened.
Okay.
So these deals, which one are we interested in?
Well, I'm always interested in anything when an heiress is involved. What can I say? It's a weakness of mine.
I mean, like, I'm cool either way. Just point me to where bodies are.
You mean the ones that you've killed in that boat last time? Those ones?
They were
or
all
new
burned.
ones?
There's no proof.
Please let's not speak about those. I still hear their screams in my sleep.
Right. Apologies. Not.
We might want to let the tangle settle itself slightly before we go venturing into it again.
Yeah, I'm down for something small. Didn't have a good interaction. I kind of fireworkly gave Jaren the bird.
I just propose no fires if we can help it. That's my least favorite kind of scream.
Speaking of, where's Hikaru?
I
Wait.
don't know.
Who's? Sorry, my name is actually Hikaru, and now I'm confused.
Oh, I wrote that down wrong. Hold on. I was trying to say the one that's not here.
Katrina.
That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm like, that'll get me confused real quick.
Yeah, I'm just like looking at the names and I'm like, wait, there's no Hikaru here, but there's a player Hikaru.
Fixing that right now. Anyway.
Katrina is on sabbatical, working on her own fire incendiary devices, I am sure. For anybody that does not know, we are going to do, for characters that, because we have more players than would normally be in every game, that is by design, because schedules get funky. If you are not on a heist, you will get an extra downtime action. And you will get half the experience that the other players do. But the nice thing about it is you will be able to put that experience literally wherever you want it to go. So while earning experience in the game is a little more dependent on what you're doing, this will be completely dependent on wherever you want it to be. And even members of the crew that are not present will get cut in on monetary value, I believe. So, unless you guys make an active decision otherwise, but I leave that to the players to sort out.
Okay. In reference, these 4 you have up are the 4 available, right?
What?
These jobs, the 4 available are right there.
Oh, no. That's just me scrolling through stuff. That's actually me just reviewing some things. I didn't realize you could see that. Boop.
Well, now, there you go.
Yeah, put those on a different screen if you have 2 screens.
I do. It's on the others. It's on the other screen.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's all good. I'll figure it out. I'll figure out how to.
Good.
Spider is meta.
Yes.
Wait, what? I am a spider.
The spider is meta. That's fine. So here, make sure you guys have that, and I can make sure that is closed, because there we go. All right. Good.
Okay, quick recap. What were our choices? Oh, God's sake.
It is all good. So your choices are: you can do a smuggling job. You will need to meet with and pick which of the gangs working in Crowsfoot to control Crowsfoot you want to work for. Okay? That's if you want to get more embroiled in what was sort of the kickoff with you guys, right? Moving Rorik's body and involving yourselves in that. If you want to take a step away from that and see how that develops, you can go meet with Alexandria Sonaria, who has not a smuggling job, but a job nonetheless.
What are you guys feeling up for?
I made the plan last time and it completely backfired. I'm leaving it up to you guys.
Nah, it went just great. I didn't
If we
officiate.
embroil ourselves with the gangs and align ourselves with the wrong gang, we make enemies of the others.
Odysseus makes a fine point, and after the eventful last endeavor, I think we might want to see where the chips fall after the dust settles.
You have no idea what we're talking about.
Oh, it made the newspapers. He's got an idea.
I was about to
They
say
weren't
something
there
that big.
personally.
We're in the
Kids
papers.
probably know what's going on.
Boats on fire outside of that district. I'll remember the name at some point. I'll learn this whole city, I promise. Blue coats assaulted. Students thought to be endangered. Chaos in the streets and canals. Yeah, absolutely. You guys did not go quietly into that good night, sir. That is absolutely a newsworthy night.
And I know for sure that I didn't.
So I have written
Caro also
down.
filled me in because she was the one that
Hey.
they convinced me to
Hey,
join this crew. So, they're not going to just leave me into something without telling me what's going on.
Yeah, I informed it went a little spicy.
I have Tingletown written. Does that sound right?
That is not the district. Tangletown
Yeah.
is part of Crowsfoot.
Yeah, it's like Tingletown is what I have. I don't have the
That's
district
part
either.
of the Crow's Foot.
Yep. I will tell you the
But
district
where
in
we
just a second.
went and ended up having the standoff involved a tower. That's all I remember.
I got you.
So something less inconspicuous would probably be the smart choice after that blunder. Let's do that.
Charter Hall.
Yeah.
Charter Hall was the district that you guys got Rorik into. All right. Sounds like you all are would like to meet with Alexandria, I will set it up. You all have the rest of the night to pass amongst yourselves, and the following evening, just past dusk, in which the only 2 times of day that the shattered sun casts any bit of light across the sky are at dawn and at dusk. The rest of the time, the sky is as black as the ink-like water that fills the canals throughout the entirety of Duskfall and the oceans beyond, where the Leviathans stalk and their hunters pursue them, running them down for their life-giving Leviathan blood, the true riches of the sea, what would be akin to raw petroleum to us, or something even more valuable, I suppose. You are led a little to your surprise to the district of Dunslow. Dunslow is not wealthy by any means. Dunslow is a place that you all have desperately attempted to avoid, each and every one of you, because Dunslow is where Ironhook Prison is. It's also where the Dunville Labor Camp, the Dunslow Ghetto, are. There's also a large quarry there, in which people mine precious ores and jewels. It's not the kind of place you would expect a heiress, a member of the, I guess, landed gentry to want to meet. But you're actually just across the canal from Dunslow. The large river that they don't name, that I wish I had a name for, just across the way in Brightstone? In Coleridge. No. In Char Hollow. Char Hollow is just a hint nicer, but when you heard Dunslow, you immediately sort of perked up and your guard went up. You have been invited to the 4th-story rooftop dining of a trendy but modest cafe just across the river from Dunslow. It is to the north, so the smell of the explosive powders and burning oils and things wafts away from this cafe most of the day. But occasionally, when the wind is stagnant, it does smell, even across the river, of not even rot, but industrial waste. A bitter, sort of pungent, almost tasting, not quite sulfur, but thick wood pulp sort of smell. Renard has given you the time and the address. You all are early, on time, late? You tell me.
I think on time.
I'm going to say on time.
Nice.
I'm always early.
I would have arrived
You're
early
early
to
as
check
well.
the place out, kind of
I'm
see
usually
any
early.
additional exits.
Okay. Well, most of you are early. Anybody that is lagging behind for any reason is arriving just on time. Those of you that take the time to look over the place, the rooftop is relatively isolated with a strong jump. You could probably make it to one of the lower nearby roofs, but 2 of the buildings that are on this block are a little taller, about 3 stories taller than the cafe. It has a good view of Dunslow, which is probably why these people got it cheap. Dunslow's not exactly a picturesque, scenic view. But if you're an up-and-coming restaurateur and you want to open a rooftop cafe, you could do worse. Other than that, there are fire exits that are easily accessible. The business on the street is mostly city workers and officials, hence the name Charter Hall, minor city employees. It does have a strong blue coat presence here, but as long as you all are avoiding certain lieutenants, you can mostly pass for respectable, upstanding members of society. As you arrive and take your seats, you're seated at a large wire iron cafe, very much like a outdoor dining sort of, all-weather table. It is luckily very well balanced, and that is about the first indication that whoever owns this place cares for it deeply, because I don't think anyone in the history of man has ever seen a table, an outdoor cafe table, that isn't wobbly. So, there you go. It's about 20 minutes before Alexandria Sonaria arrives, fashionably late, and in a functional evening dress that is just about knee length, tight and form-fitting, but allows her enough mobility to move. The overcoat that she wears, however, is thick. Definitely one of function over fashion. An interesting blend of both money and practicality. She has with her a assistant dressed similarly, feminine style, hair cut short, and who has a Indiana Jones style satchel of books and papers and pens and scribes and things like that. And with them is a valet, a sharply dressed man in muted grays and blacks, clearly of serving status, with impeccable white gloves and a tails coat that cuts off at about his ribs, buttoned neatly, and again, a perfect blend of form and fashion. He will assist Alexandria to sit, and the assistant to pulls over a seat to sit with you all as well. And he remains standing. Anyone that is of an interest, you get the feeling he probably doubles as a bodyguard. He doesn't make much effort to hide what are more functional and crafting knives about his person, dining knives, crafting knives, but you get the feeling that they probably double as defensive weapons as well. A relatively dangerous foe, but clearly with your numbers, you could overwhelm them. Although that would definitely put an end to any business dealings that you may have. As she sits down, Alexandria will look over you all. She has rich, raven-like black hair and large, striking blue eyes. The type of blue that is off-putting, just a bit. And as the last bit of dusk light fades, they seem to widen or enlargen, giving her an all the more innocent or doe-like appearance, while the rest of her remains very on guard. My dear associates, I am most sorry to have kept you waiting. However, it is important for both myself and my house that we conduct this business as safely and covertly as possible. I am Alexandra Sonaria. I am the only heir to the Sonarian title and name, business of which has been, well, struggling, to say the least. A difficulty, which I'm hoping that you all will be able to assist me with in the near future. I'm curious, how familiar are any of you with the Sonarian family?
My apologies, I know nothing.
Not much more than in passing, if I'm being honest. I hear whispers all the time.
We work hard to keep it that way. Unfortunately, there are blights, blemishes, skeletons in our past which we would much prefer to remain distant and buried. It is unfortunate at this moment that I need to call upon you to unbury one of those particular secrets. My family once held an estate just across the river in Dunslow. We did business there for a time after the Great Cataclysm. We had a relatively large manor, in fact, rather large, the largest in the entirety of Dunslow's history, if I'm not mistaken, which isn't to say much. Dunslow is filled with criminals and the destitute and desperate.
This moment, so does this cafe, it seems.
Not quite destitute, sir. Desperate. Absolutely. Somewhere within that manor, there is an heirloom. A key of great importance. Doesn't open anything here within Duskville. However, the treasure it leads to, out in the Ghostlands, would do well to re-establish the Sonarian name as a force of economic ability here. Now, I would like you all to acquire it and return it to me. She takes a moment to sort of gauge each of your reflections. Studying each of your faces for a moment. Any questions?
What prevents you from walking across that bridge and getting it yourself?
Well, Dunslow is a difficult and unsavory place, clearly. So, I don't think a person of my stature would do well. You can tell she That's a true statement, but it is not the entirety of the truth. You are welcome to press her for more information if you would like to.
So you don't want to get your hands dirty, yet you want the job done.
Isn't that the way of all parts of the world?
Your primary is now this, if I hear you correctly.
I apologize, my primary is what?
Getting this... Well, actually having us get this instead of you. Are you hiding from a particular face because you won't do it yourself?
Very astute, sir. Very astute, yes. As a matter of fact, there is someone I would prefer not become embroiled in this mess. One Sir Olin Donvold. He is a new money upstart. Family came from a serving class, and in his adult age has sworn a bout of economic vengeance upon, well, each of the old houses that operate throughout Duskfall. Mine is merely the latest in a series, slowly working his way up the food chain, as it were. Can't merely take on the Leviathan hunters immediately, so he's contenting himself with picking apart the holdings of more traditional houses. If he were to become alerted to the idea that there was a valuable holding of my family within Dunslow, he might attempt to buy it out from underneath us. Or merely pay to steal the key itself. Key of which he doesn't know. Nor does he know of our estate in the Ghostlands.
Sorry, what was his name again?
His name is Sir Olin, O-L-E-N, Danwald, or Dunvold, D-A-N-W-O-L-D.
Thank you.
Hey, Pixie. Glad you made it to Georgia. Thanks for tuning in.
Hi. If you need someone's house to break into, my brother lives in Georgia.
Well put, I guess.
I think
Sure, won't mind.
He also has 2 cats.
If you don't mind my asking, ma'am, how did your family came to lose the property?
We've never lost the property. Property is still in our name, although mortgaged. It was our first estate within the city. It was one that we moved on from relatively early. We established ourselves just after the cataclysm as purveyors of labor in the region.
And couldn't you send a servant to go get the key for you?
I could, absolutely. If they could find it, which servants of that caliber, of your particular skill set, are, shall we say, rare. Also, servants attached to my name would draw the attention of Dunvold.
Just so we don't get the wrong key, do you have anything of resemblance so we know it is the key when we find it?
I have a drawing of a key.
I, in fact, do have a drawing of a key. If you were to agree to the job, then yes, I provide you with information about the drawing of the key.
He's going to express a passive interest by moving closer to her in conversation. kind of in the body language of "Go on."
Comes from a journal from a great ancestor that made a few notes as to the key's hidden location.
You said your family has property in the Ghostlands. To
Yes.
what end?
Well, to be fair, when we had the property, it wasn't the Ghostlands. But following the cataclysm, we moved out of the country, where much of our holdings were, into Duskfall, re-established ourselves in Dunslow, providing labor and management of, made a bit of a fortune mining emeralds and diamonds from the Celestial Pit, and expanded our holdings, leaving behind the less tasteful aspects of, well, labor management. Our holdings have done relatively well for us. However, within the past 3 years, pretty much everything we once held has been bought out by this Dunwald. It is his practice to pressure businesses until they are near destitute before buying them at a cheapened price. A pirate of economy.
Well, I think I'm in agreement. I am interested. How about the rest of you?
Keeps getting more curious, so I can't say there's no intrigue.
I'm curious about one thing.
Please.
Why didn't you hire someone to kill him? Because then he wouldn't be a problem anymore.
That is quite true, although his estate does hold a vast majority of what are once valuable businesses. At this point, killing him would only pass on his holdings to whatever heir he has, and he is well guarded and well protected. As much as I would love to see the man dead, that is not going to help me reestablish my family. Now, I believe you stumbled onto part 2 or 3 of my to-do list, but as for now, keeping the Sonarian estate running is task number 1.
Well, Beef, feel free to keep me in mind.
She looks...
And yes, I actually do laugh when I say that.
Absolutely. She looks at her assistant, like, write that down, and the assistant very diligently, oh yeah, okay, she writes it down. Yeah.
So good. Do the dead talk around your estate?
Absolutely. Dunslow is a difficult place, filled with spirits of dead prisoners. It is not a happy locale. I would imagine the estate is as morally bankrupt as the rest of the district.
Hey, Caro, that's your area. I mean, push goes to shove, we can make a deal. He says that
Yeah.
abruptly. But hey,
Yep.
it's the end.
Nephthys is the character's name, I believe.
What? I'm the murderer. What do you
we're
want?
talking-
No, I'm talking to Caro.
Okay.
Oh, Caro. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, Caro.
I heard Hikaru, and I was like,
I said it
Hikaru.
with an
You heard
accent.
Hikaru. It's fine.
No, I ignored it. If I look up, then that's a problem.
Got
I
it.
didn't look up. We're good.
sounds good.
So anyway, my area. Sorry. No, I'm lost. Out of character.
am-
Dead people, dead spirits is your
Yes,
jam.
my specialty. Okay, yeah. Yeah,
And
I
if
mean,
we need to force our hand, I can make a deal with them.
yeah, I mean, they won't scare me. So that's fine. I don't mind talking to them. They're just, whatever. Depends on how badly they died, actually. But they're usually pretty peaceful and leave you alone.
Yes, Odysseus.
Am I to understand that if you get this key back, you will be mounting an expedition into the Ghostlands?
That is correct. That it would be step 2 in
I'd be very interested in accompanying you.
That is also very interesting. And she looks again at the assistant with the write that down face, and the assistant writes it down.
So it seems my colleagues and I are very interested in this endeavor.
Wonderful.
But it leaves the one very, very important question of what would we get for all of this trouble we're about to overcome?
A prudent question. Out of character, I am going to say this is a standard score for 6 coins. Now,
Wait, 6 coins per person,
6
or
coins
six
total.
total?
6
Okay,
coins
so
total.
1 each.
Yes. 1 each, and I'll throw in 1 for the for your bank. But you guys will have to pay to expand it. You can only store 4 coins currently. So that'll have to be an upgrade. Or you can give it to somebody else. You can also split it up into 7ths, I suppose.
I've got plans for that to further my business on the side of the underworld. So
Okay.
that's foreshadowing of what I want to do.
So I'm going to set this as a standard score for clarity, out of character. You will gain favor with House Sonaria. You will lose favor with Danwald, potentially making an enemy out of him. If it goes well, you have the potential of the follow-up job in the Ghostlands and greater payout for that, and follow-up jobs with killing Danwald. You can also, if you want, while you won't know the location of the ghost of the house in the Ghostlands, you could betray her. You could either sell her out to Danwald. You could take the key for yourself and go try to find the treasure by yourself. You are welcome to do these other things. I mention them as options, not exactly great ideas, but ideas that exist. So.
Good to know.
Well, since we're already heading into the Ghostlands, we need to know the general direction. Do you have a map or something to lead us there so that we don't get lost?
You won't be heading into the Ghostlands for this particular score, but if you were selected to go on that expedition, depending on how this goes, yes, I do have documentation that could help us in reaching that location.
Though my colleague does make a good point. Do you have, by chance, a drawing of the house that we're going to and a suspected location where the key might be? Because that would be very, very helpful in finding it.
As I mentioned, I do have my ancestors' journal, and yes, I can give you directions to the estate in Dunslow.
Excellent.
Okay.
Have you ever been to that particular estate?
Dunslow? No. I grew up some generations after we had left the Dunslow estate.
You've even
What
been out
if
of
we
here?
search the entire estate and do not find the key?
then I can't pay you.
So high risk for no reward. I see.
She just sort of shrugs at that.
Well, there goes that
Kind of
bodyguard
cast a
again.
sideways glance at Caro.
Oh, I have an idea.
Look, between me and Odysseus, we'll figure it out.
I'm certain we can come to an arrangement no matter what plays out.
Yeah, I'm not too concerned. I just don't want more death, if possible, and a less big target on our backs. It's like really big and red right now.
I
I'm
look
not
up
a
and then I
fan.
look back down at my notes.
It's okay, red is totally my color. I don't mind it.
It's not everybody's color. So you can wear that color all you want, but at this time, I've been pretty good worked with all of you, and I'm good at keeping my freaking head low. Last time was way too close. We need to be smart.
Agreed. Wise words.
Yep. And to have them.
There is an option of protection that can't be touched. If you think about it in the big picture, we are covered either way. I will say it to purposely prod interest in whoever wants to know what I'm talking about, including
Alexandria?
yes.
Yeah, she'll... What do you mean?
That depends on if we find the key. As you said, this can be in steps. I also have steps. And it could be very resourceful if we find that key. So for your sake, I hope you're right.
All I have to go on is the journal. So, its accuracy I cannot verify, but it's held a
It's mere-
place of value in my family.
It's merely business. So, shall we? And I try to like cut off the the sharp air.
Absolutely.
Yes, I believe we're in accord. I look forward to working with such a becoming young woman. Or young, old. I actually don't know how old she is.
So she is, yeah, maybe late 20s. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
She's relatively young. She is not fresh-faced ingenue young, but she is, yeah, she's young.
Yeah, and the assistant that looks like a scribe.
Yes.
Okay. And the butler bodyguard dude.
Yep.
They all look 20-ish.
The butler bodyguard is maybe late 40s, early 50s, but he is healthy. He's like that, like he looks like that guy that got into CrossFit late in life. Yeah.
Any evident scars on him?
He's a hot dad.
Ooh. I will say he's almost covered head to toe, but a little bit around the collar, which is a high collar, you can see a little bit of like a scar. Yeah, not a knife scar, like not a knife wound, but maybe like a rope burn, like a rope hanging scar.
Okay, so this guy's definitely seen some kind of action.
Oh yes,
So
yeah.
he's sturdy. Okay.
Yes, yeah. It is these are not vanity muscles. They are of function for sure.
Mine are total vanity muscles.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I if you got them, why not? All right. Sounds like you guys are are set. She will go over the details with you. Dunslow, the estate of Dunslow, is in the ghetto, the Dunslow ghetto, but it is separated on top of a hill. The Dunslow ghetto was originally created as a place for families of prisoners to live while they would visit them. Originally, it was primarily for like children and gonna say widows, even though they're still alive, right? Like prison wives. Very quickly, maybe not very quickly, but over some generations, it definitely grew into being a more diverse, poor crowd. A lot of laborers, labor camps, people that work there doing dangerous and terrible sort of mining, as well as some of the blah blah blah, some of the Leviathan blood refining, or just tote and fetch, right? These are this is where the dregs of society live, and in the midst of what is a Brazilian in the midst of what is a Brazilian barrio, at the top of a hill, there is a legitimate manor. One that has that is still there, but one that has not been maintained, and one that probably houses a portion, or might house, you don't know, a portion of poor, of those without homes, right? This is the scene that you guys are walking into. The estate, the journal documents how it was written by a previous Bertrand Sonaria is the journal for whom it is written, of whom wrote it. That's the way to put that. That's not great. And he outlines what are the final days of the family in that estate. He talks about having expanded the family's wealth, its holdings, opening businesses, finally getting them out of this place. That there is, he can see. One thing he notes is that he is desperately trying to get out of here for his children, of whom he ascribes a cruelty the likes of which he has not known. That he has seen the prison guards of Iron Hook, that he has seen the whip masters of the mire, but even at their birth, his twins were vicious in their assault upon his bride's body. That as they have grown, as they have aged into being school-age children, you assume like around 10, maybe a little less, that their capacity for violence and their cold-hearted nature has only exponentially grown, and that he has to believe it is the surroundings of these criminal minds and violent sociopaths that have influenced his beloved boys, and that he kept that the key had been traditionally kept at the head of the family, that it would rattle in time with the passions of the day until when upon the closing of the estate, the movings, the shuttering of the house included moving the more glamorous of the furnishings into the home's basement. And that it was... he decided to keep the key as it always had at the head of the family. And so he himself moved it down into the basement, locked behind the walls. And that is the sort of cryptic clue description of where the key is.
I will say I was ordering Firehouse subs, so if anybody could just fill me in later.
Dinner's important.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. Especially on a firehouse.
So he keeps on saying that...
Listen, I'm pregnant and I'm hungry. No one bother me.
He keeps on saying that the key is kept at the head of the family.
Yes. That is the phrase often repeated. The other phrase being that it would bang in or rattle in time with the passions of the day.
I know where the key is.
All right.
Yeah, I'll just go with that. Damn it. That's my vice. Now I'm literally struggling now.
You do get experience points if your vice distracts you and complicates the adventure for people.
Also, I mean, I also consort with rogue spirits, so I'm probably on this train as well. So.
Same.
I might need your help if we get to that point.
Yeah.
You're good with words, alright?
I can do my best.
What about the living? No offense. No, they're on.
I can handle just about anything that's been put in my path so far, so I think that I'll be able to get your back.
Not my back I'm worried about.
It's the front.
You shut your mouth. He's a little defensive. Just a little bit. Okay, then with time limit, or we will just see you when we're done with this project.
Get paid when you complete it.
Yeah.
I would say something around, I would say 40 up front, just so that we don't go out and find nothing.
The agreed upon price is 6 coins. Plus.
Can we get 1 coin?
Oh, you want 1 coin up front?
Up front. Because I'm not going to just go into whatever, hypothetically find a key that possibly is still there or not, and waste all of my time, my resources, my efforts for nothing.
Okay.
I want a down payment.
1 coin. Done.
Okay.
We could put that one in the bank.
Exactly. So it's like, we can get everything else later, but it's like, want insurance. Come on.
Sure. Okay. With that, you guys are done with the approach. You're done with the pre-heist. we now pick an approach, or you guys can make what are sort of gather information checks, basically. And this is essentially you guys surveying the area, seeing what could potentially be in front of you. So if you would like to make a each of you can roll just a flat d6 as you are applying your contacts, you are doing your best to prep. And if you would like, you can spend 1 coin to give each of you an additional d6. This is sort of a cumulative as a organization. You bribing people, paying people off, you using the money that you have to improve the information you are gathering.
Oh, I'd rather have that, personally, but I don't know what anybody else is feeling.
I'm going to go selfish, and my contacts are going to lead towards said pleasure. And any information network through that side of it.
Okay.
Because my vice is really hard to get around.
Okay.
So I will pay a gold to get information, but that's direction of information that I'm using.
That's fine. So that's 2 people in favor of spending the coin. Anyone else in favor? Cool. That makes 3, which is enough. So you guys, the coin that you had gotten as down payment, don't worry about checking it off anywhere. That is going to be spent. You can all roll 2d6 on your information gathering. Give me the highest number you roll.
I rolled a 5.
5.
5.
Okay.
I got a 6.
All right.
Oh, spicy.
Nicely done. So, picking up the rumors of what is in front of you. There are... So, you talk to your different contacts. Some of you go to the area. You pay off workers. You probably scope out the manor in Dunslow. A few things come to your attention, and that is, first off, if you create too much racket, or if you look too well armed or too wealthy in the area of Dunslow, there are many desperate people that may attempt to rob you, and desperate enough to be killed in the process. These are literally people that have nothing to live for. So anything above a light load going in there will draw attention of the locals. That is piece of information 1. Second piece of information is that any of the desperate locals, the destitute, the released prisoners, I shouldn't say freed prisoners, the day laborers, the sick, the unhealthy, any of those people that attempt to live in Dunslow Manor or just visit there are never seen again. Dunslow Manor is avoided by the healthy and the living at all costs, mostly for the screams of terror and pain that are heard throughout both day and night, that only diminish during dawn and dusk. And diminish is a relative term. There are rumors that the garden is a topiary of skeletons and flayed flesh.
Nephthys is gonna love this place.
I'm saying nothing. Shut up.
The house itself is dangerous and in disrepair because nobody can go in there to tend to any of it. So many of the boards are weak, breaking. There are 2 basements and 3 stories. So
What time of day are we going in?
you can absolutely decide what time of day you are going in.
That is going to determine if I bring a lantern or not.
I would
And I'm
most,
doing light gear.
yeah, I would think a lantern is probably warranted.
Okay.
Well,
good.
you would want a lantern anyway, because if we're going inside and it's dark, like said basement, then I would
Yep.
recommend you bring a lantern. So even if you ask the group, I would tell you to bring a lantern.
Okay.
For the unquiet dead, people don't see a lot of ghosts or spirits or restless dead around the place. And last bit of information is that Olin Danwald is aware of the house, doesn't know the importance of it, hasn't tried to purchase it, but he does have somebody keep tabs on it. Loose tabs, light tabs. But if you draw too much attention, he may send people to investigate.
Okay, you said that we have how much prep time until we go in?
It's up to you.
Yeah, because I mean, like, this isn't a rush thing.
Right.
So we can take our time on this one.
Yep.
Yeah, I would like to, while I'm gathering information, I'd like to take some time to try to consort with Alexandria and really get on her good side to make sure that we have all the information. And also, it doesn't hurt to have an heiress in our pocket.
Sure, absolutely. If you want to make a sway roll.
I would like to make a consort roll.
Consort roll, sure. I'll give you that.
He's trying to fuck her.
I know.
I'm sorry, like when you said a sway roll, I was like Bardic sway? Then
Right, yeah.
My brain
Talking
went
about-
back there.
Yep,
All right, so since I have 2 pips in that, I roll 2 dice, correct?
correct. Give me the higher.
Okay, I rolled a 5.
A 5. Okay. Yeah, she likes you. She finds you charming. She does know you're trying to get on her good side. But you make good company. And she is not withholding any known information about it. You do the most I will tell you is that you get the feeling the early days of her family were very much based in prison labor and mining and slavery. So that is not what her family has participated in literal generations. But that's what the Dunslow house was built on. The manor in Dunslow. That was the practice.
Okay, good deal. Thanks.
I'm going to see if. God damn it! I know his name's not Alfred. Renard. Good enough. Has any supplies that we can rummage that are still decent but can be lightweight.
So as far as your light load, you are able to carry 3 of the items able to be checked off there. He has all of it available to you, so you can take any of those things on your character sheet. He doesn't have
Okay.
anything. He doesn't have anything special, and you don't have to decide what you're actually taking until you use it. Right?
Oh, okay. So I don't have to say anything until
Correct.
then.
No.
Yeah, you don't
I
have
was
to.
just
Cool.
asking about the time of day and everything because I'm just like pre-planning for me, Elliot,
Yeah.
but not my character.
Yeah, it's good to have an idea of like what your character would take, but really when you start a heist, you pick a load. So it's like 3 for light, 5 items for normal, 6 items for heavy. And heavy you have to have heavy to like get the extra armor for heavy armor and special armor and stuff like that. But you don't have to actually decide what those items are until in the moment you're like, I need throwing knives, and then you check the throwing knives box or whatever the item is. So
I do have a question on items. What's the difference between the ones that are listed in gray and the ones that are listed in the white side of the sheet?
the gray ones under like you're talking about like under special abilities?
Correct, yes.
So those are exceptional items that are for your class. They're items that you like build, develop, and are just for you. So they would sort of be like magic items, but the way you acquire them in this game is either through like great boons, or you can get certain ones that are from class features. So like, I believe weapons that can hurt a ghost is a class feature, right? So that's, you have to have that feature in order to utilize that type of weapon.
Okay, so like just an example, one of mine is fine clothes and jewelry. Is that something that I can just have, or do I have to have something to get that?
Where does it say fine clothes and jewelry? In gray or?
Yeah, in gray. All these are in my character description.
Okay, so in gray under special abilities, if it has fine clothes and jewelry, that you can have, think of it not just as like fine clothes, but exceptional clothes. These are clothes that stand out among the aristocracy. They are fashionable, they are not just well made, but they are also stylish. They make a statement. They are something that will impact and help your character. So that would be one of the boons you chose at character creation. And when you have enough experience points in your playbook, which is under your coin stash on the right, then you can pick a new special ability and add that to your character.
Okay, cool.
When I notice, because this will be like the last bit thing, because I literally just thought of it.
Mhm.
When Throm is done conversing with her and I have a moment, I'm going to just briefly walk up to her and very nonchalant says, "So, I forgot to mention nor ask." That came out weird. I'm a little bit flustered right now. Do you care about said building when we get the key to still stand?
No. The estate's in disrepair. Couldn't move into it today if we wanted to. If I was going to move back to Dunslow, we'd have to rebuild the entirety of it. So
So would it do you a favor if I flatlined it?
it wouldn't hurt. The value of the estate is purely in the land, and the land itself is not terribly valuable given its location.
Do you think that's what he's after?
The land.
Because if you acquire more land, that broadens your business as far as my expertise.
Potentially. As far as what Danwald is after, I imagine it's everything.
And when you lack information, you go for the biggest fish. And land out of that list would be my personal go-to.
True.
So,
Land is valuable, but it is also in the literal poorest part of the entire city.
I'm thinking it in this aspect. Say he did get your property, then he's the target, which would ensue chaos, which may or may not be the purpose of Dunwald to get stirred up, and then use that as cover to continue poking the bear in your family so to speak.
Perhaps. I suspect he's nearing the end of his bear poking with us and preparing to move on to bigger fish.
Alright, I'm just casual conversation to know where you stand. I didn't really have time to talk to you in person, so I do apologize for that.
Not at all. Nothing to
However,
apologize.
just with your ears and probably your associates over there, if they're not going to leave, the estate with the ghosts, I could potentially make guards available that cannot be touched if you're interested. Saying we do find the key into part 2 for this endeavor.
I am not against it, although it not my
I know
chief
it doesn't
concern.
make sense. It doesn't make sense. However, that could be an interest for you personally, if you so choose to take it.
Good to know. Thank you.
I'll be on my way, and I leave.
All right. So, yes, Odysseus.
During the prep time, I would really like to pore over the journal
Okay.
and look at all of the mentions of that head of the family, any descriptions of the interior of the building.
Okay.
If you're in wherever you're located, if you have the book, I will want to stay by the book so I know how to get in.
Okay.
If
Yeah, I'd
that's
wanna take a look
okay,
at the
I have
book,
to
too.
see if that's allowed through your character.
Sure. You guys have the time to share.
No,
the-
any maps would absolutely share them.
I would actually like, even though it's advice, I do want to consort with rogue spirits to see if there's any additional information that anyone not living could give.
Okay.
I was going to use that as an option too, to try to attune with any spirits in the area, if there were even any.
Okay. I'm gonna save the rogue spirit attuning for the beginning of the heist, because you guys will need to be close enough to the estate that we will essentially be heisting at that point. For that, however, descriptions of the estate are as follows. It is up on the hill. There is a wrought iron and brick fence that goes around it that sits to about 8 feet tall. The gate is, from your research, in disrepair. The stretch of land, road, whatever, approach to the front of the house was once a canopy of trees. Most of those trees have died or no longer bloom or blossom. Around the back, there is the topiary. The rumor of which is that the topiary is now undead or skeletal in nature, right? That it is of dead bodies and flayed skin. The house itself is 3 stories, grand double entrance door, a foyer with grand staircases that lead up to the 2nd floor. From the 2nd floor, you travel deeper into the manor over the dining and dancing hall. That is where the 2nd set of staircases leads to the 3rd floor. 3rd floor is where the rooms, the living rooms, the bedrooms are. 2nd floor sports the sunroom, or like a solarium, a viewing room, right? A sitting room. Library is on the 1st floor. Kitchen on the 1st floor. Dining hall on the 1st floor. Balcony to the dining hall on the 2nd floor. And what else is on the 2nd floor? Just like a variety of weird activity rooms, right? like a tennis court, stuff like that. Third floor is where all the living quarters were. Servants' quarters were in the first basement. Second basement was for storage and for all of those sorts of things. There is a cellar door that sits on the west end of the house, and there is a that is about it. Kitchen, from the kitchen and the hallway leading into the kitchen is where the stairs to the servants' quarters are. And then from there, he doesn't make any notes of how to get to the storage basement because he didn't go there. And none of this is like outlined as like a map. It's very much you reading his journal entries from his time as like a teenager. You get the he was just Bertrand was an avid journaler. Luckily. Does that answer what people were curious about?
And of course, all of this is out of date because this is an ancestor's journal, and that's not what it looks like currently.
Well, he was the last Sonarian to live there. So this is the layout he left the house in. Now, what of that still stands? You're not 100%.
What's the date of the last journal entry? Like how long prior to this?
400 years.
Okay.
I'm surprised the house is still standing. Holy crap.
Yeah. A good infrastructure, I guess.
They built them good back then, good and strong.
It's a lot of brick.
Down.
Yeah, a lot of stone. So there's a lot of stone for the walls. The interior is rotting though, and at least part of the roof has collapsed. So
I'm going to start looking for everyone else since it sounds like they split off, ready to like rally up and like let's go.
okay, 5 days have passed as you guys have gathered your information. We're going to take a quick 10-minute break. When we come back, we will be in the heist. I will do an engagement roll, and we start the heist in action. That is why we have the flashback mechanic for you guys to make use of. We did more planning on this one than we will traditionally do in the future, but we're all still feeling it out. So it is 10:01 by my clock. We're going to be back in about 10 minutes. We will see you guys then. But until then, stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. We are Random Encounter Productions. I'm Cody Stone. With me tonight, we have...
I'm Elliot.
Playing...
And I'm playing Cairo.
There we go.
The Whisperer.
I'm Elliot, period.
And I'm Aiden. I'm playing. Cedric Vale. I almost forgot my own name.
I'm Darian. I am playing the artist formerly known as Prince, now known as Throm Sturman.
Hi, I'm Hikaru. I am playing as Nephthys the Lurk, and so far there are no dead bodies, and it kind of makes me upset.
Just wait. They're coming.
There's still the time.
I'm Mo. I'm playing as Odysseus Valentin, who is also a Whisperer.
Nice. Welcome, everybody. Glad you guys are here. Now, it is heist time. I need to know, are you guys trying to be stealthy? Or are you going in with force?
Preferably stealth.
Stealth, because force.
Okay.
You can just pick that
Stealth.
off. Once
Even
every
for me,
7
I'm saying
days.
stealth.
Try to be.
Awesome. Stealth. Front. Are you going through the front door, or are you trying to get to the front door or the back door?
We have no information on either, which is safer.
You know that the front has the overgrown topiary. It has the back has the topiary of skin and bones. The front has the canopy. That is the information you were able to gather. So that is your option, essentially.
Doesn't matter to me.
So I'm just gonna go through the back.
I want to go through the back. Caro. Still working on it.
Caro, like
Sorry.
the corn syrup.
But my
Yeah.
tongue gets stuck in the back of my throat, so it's Carl. Not gonna explain why.
That's all right. I'm just
Anywho.
now I'm only gonna picture the Walking Dead Coral. Coral meme. I apologize.
That's
so-
all. That's all in game.
Cool
Like
things.
I'm literally having an issue with that pronunciation.
sounds like the back entrance through the topiary of skin and bone is what people are going for. Yeah.
Yep.
It just sounds lovely.
All right.
I mean, if you can
so much.
splitting the party is fine. So if anybody wants to go through the front, and then I know I'm just definitely going to the back because I want to know. I'm
Can I-
excited.
As much as I
Carl,
like the idea of breaching from both sides, it's just that topiary sounds so sweet.
Oh, you have no idea, Throm. Anyway, Caro,
Yes, very curious about that.
Odysseus. If we go in the back, Odysseus, you can get ammo if they're floating around. Caro, I need a travel buddy, and I could split off and cover the front. Problem is, I can't see them.
So you need 2 people with our minds and visions to see. Got it.
I can get a travel buddy, but I don't know where they're at. It's really difficult to understand or explain. Are you up for it?
I mean, hey, if that's what you want and you don't want to follow the rest in the back, I'm down for either one. We just got to do our reads anyways.
Vanilla sounds better right now. I had a horrible few days, if you know what I mean.
Completely
get past that.
understand. So, yeah.
Okay.
Out of character, I am wanting to create a ghost contract. I can't find them nor
Wow,
see
you
them.
think?
Just say it.
No way. I mean, out of character, I'm down for that. Let's fuck it up. Bucaro's kind of like, you know what? If this is what you want,
Look, I'll
with
make
you
it
going-
better for all 2 of you. I can make a deal where I get business from him, her, it. Anyway, I won't torture it after, which may be one less voice for you to hear. Odysseus, however, could have some ammo in her thingies after I'm done. And that could be an eternal rest because, it would be dead. You get my drift? Like, we all win.
I look over to Odysseus. Thoughts?
I'm down for that.
Okay.
I knew I liked you.
Needed.
Okay.
Oh, Odysseus is a guy, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm aware.
All right.
Calling you
So,
a bitch.
Okay. Let's do an engagement roll. So I'm gonna roll. I've given you guys get 1d6 just for luck. You've done a fair amount of research and you have a multi-pronged approach. So I'm giving you 3d6. Gonna roll these. We're gonna take the highest one, and then I will let you guys know how you are doing. Highest one is a 5. So you guys are starting off with some complications as you begin to make your way up and into the area. You have bypassed all of the destitute scavengers that lurk around the manor. I believe it is Caro and Cedric traveling through the front, correct?
Yep.
And making their way through the topiary in the back is Throm, Nephthys and Odysseus. Yes? Yes. Okay. We'll start up front because you guys are up top, so why not? You have made your way through the gate. The gate was open, easy to bypass. The road that leads up to the front of the house is relatively straight, of ever so slightly a curve with an overgrown canopy. The canopy is of dead trees, but as you make your way forward, there is a roundabout in front of the house where carriages and autos and anything like that would turn around. And there is a massive willow tree. And it is... The trunk of the tree is probably 12 to 15 feet in radius. So like 20 feet in diameter. Very big tree. The little weeping leaves off the front that are drooping down have a crystalline sheen to them as you guys are making your approach. They have ghost crystals sort of growing out of them, which is a concentration of ectoplasmic energy and life energy, and ghosts will crystallize. So this tree is shimmering even in the darkness of, I'm assuming, night. You guys want to, or day? You could go in the day, it's still dark. Let's say night. Why not? Unless you...
I thought it was night, to be
Perfect.
honest.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I also assumed it was night.
I'm on board. Yeah, it's one of those odd things in Duskfall where it's like, is it dark? Yes. Is it day? Doesn't matter. It's still dark. But yes, nighttime.
I do want to ask, because it's a tree, a big tree in an abandoned place. Is there more than just a tree, or is it just a tree?
You are unsure. I will take a study check, or an attune check, if you would.
Because I will have purpose going to the tree because my pleasure is being fed.
Uh-huh.
I want to snip off some of that willow for Odysseus. So
I
it might
can
like
also
gain
go
favor.
along and use my attune.
Okay. Go for it.
We're sticking together anyway, bud. 4
I
is my
was so
highest.
sad that I wasn't there, and I was gonna ask you to get some for me.
I've already thought that once he said it.
So 4 for me on my attune.
Okay.
4-2.
Okay.
Sorry, just a 4. That came out weird.
Got it. You guys are both in control. You have limited action. You have limited effect on this. What I am going to say is that you realize that this tree is definitely, with the amount of ghost energy that is embedded into it, in those crystals, that they're literally growing out of the leaves. It is... you don't know if it's like fully sentient, but it has personality. It has spirit. It has energy to it. And as you begin to approach, because you guys rolled 4s, we're going to set the clock of a 6 clock that is Whomping Willow. Might as well. Why lean away from the reference, right? The tree does begin to shift and move, and you're sort of looking around it. You're maybe like 5-10 feet away from it, and the roots of it begin to sort of, and as they lurch, you feel the ground beneath you shift in not quite a quaking way, but there is a gnarled knot of roots that stretches further and beneath your feet than you absolutely realized. We're gonna come back to you guys in just a moment. To my backdoor team, you guys are working your way around the topiary. And the topiary is filled with these old, they look actually very well kept plant statues, right? Edward Scissorhands creations of soldiers lined up along the trees, and also on like horseback, very much almost like a chessboard of figures rolling down the entire pathway. And
Thanks, I hate it.
you're welcome. And as you're walking through, it's not quite like a hedge maze, but it's definitely not a straight path, right? Like it kind of weaves back and forth, and it is very much in the style of a chess game. These trees, these sorted things, the trunks of which are bone ashen white, and whose leaves are a viscous reddish brown. Almost the air is coppery with blood. And you can see at their roots this sort of weathered, fleshy, leathery skin that has been stretched about them. And as you guys have begun to make your way, these topiary soldiers, these pieces, have begun creaking in a sense as they turn towards you. And you definitely get the sense that they are not only watching you, but beginning to shift the entirety of their focus to you.
That's fun.
So I am going to set a clock for you guys, called Bloody Chest Plant.
That's a name.
Yep. When you can't go for, you just go for accuracy, right? Bloody Chest Plants.
How many pieces in that pie?
I'm going to put that as a 6 as well. So 6, looking for 6 effect for you guys to overcome and make it past this obstacle into the manor. So, yeah, what do you want to do, Odysseus? There is no initiative. You can jump in anytime you want. Once you've taken an action, we all know D&D, so we're going to talk about it in terms of like a turn or two, right? Just so we can have a common language. Once you do that, I give everybody else a chance. Unless they pass, then we jump back around to you. So we're going to kick it off with Odysseus, who is eager to get to the action. What you got?
I would just like to pull on my fine spirit mask.
Okay. Oop, lost you there.
Food came in. Give me a second.
Cool.
I had it up a second ago. Let me pull it up again. Give me just a moment as to what it does.
Okay.
I don't know if that's ominous enough, seeing all those Yoshi.
You're judging.
While Odysseus looks that up, does anybody else have an action? Oh, you're good. Go ahead.
It protects me from possession,
Okay.
and it also lets me see spirit energies in greater detail.
Okay. Awesome. So yeah, you pull on the mask. All the spirit energy that is here, it is oddly quiet. Like it's almost dead to ghost energy, except for what has been bound to these topiary plant soldiers. So there's no risk of possession, and in order to like make a contract or to get something to go with you, you're gonna end up having to free it from these plant things. very much an amalgamation of spirits. You can tell that they are suffering, they are tortured, they are sort of gnarled and knotted together in this plant style. Is there anything else you'd like to do, Odysseus?
Not at the moment, because they have not made an aggressive movement.
Okay. Well, they're about to. Sounds good. Anybody else?
Yes, I'm gonna ready my Spirit Bane charm.
Okay.
And basically, I'd like to lead a group skirmish or a group action to wreck these things if they continue the approach.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. A group rec action sounds good. Do you have points in rec?
I don't. I'm going to use my Jack of all trades to take 2 stress and get my best roll, so I'd have 2 points that I could use for rec.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds fantastic. So, let's have you, Nephthys, and Odysseus roll rec.
Well, first off, what did I miss?
The plant soldiers are bound spirits. There are no other spirits walking around, so there's no ghosts. They've all been sort of bound to these plant trees that are about to attack. And you have to destroy some plant things to get spirits out of them. And then I believe with the spirit charm, Thrum was about to lead a group rec action.
Yeah, so using my sway ability, I basically convinced the lovely Nephthys and Odysseus to be my meat shield so that I can safely melee from behind them.
It doesn't matter. I would have volunteered to take point anyway.
I know you would have.
Okay. So I believe for a group action like this, if everybody rolls rec, we take the best roll. What the roll that Thrum makes is used for everybody. Any rolls of 1 to 3 will induce a stress on Thrum.
Yeah, so I have to take 2 off the cuff for my Jack of all trades.
Yep.
And let's see what we get here.
Okay.
If you
Oh,
don't
I got a
have
6.
points in
That
rec,
makes me happy.
You roll 2 and take the lesser.
Correct.
I rolled 2 1s.
Cool. So you're gonna take 3 additional.
I rolled a 6 and a 3, and I had to take the 3.
Yeah. Oof. You're gonna take 3 stress there, Thrum. However, each of you are going to essentially have a success. Your situation is risky. Your effect with your spirit charm, and does anyone else? I believe Odysseus, being a whisper, I'm going to give you a regular effect of 2. The spirit charm lets you interact with ghosts, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to double check that. But I don't believe Nephthys has any... Well, you don't have to interact with ghosts. They're literally plants. So you all guys have normal effect against them. And with that, you're going to tick all 6 boxes of this. So, describe for me this grand chess melee of topiary blood and bone and leafy goodness. Kick us
In a
off,
world
Thrum.
like none you've ever seen before. I point to the topiaries and I say, Nephthys, do what you do. And she's off in a whirling dervish of blades. Odysseus is behind her. I don't know what she brings to the forefront, but I'm sure
brings.
he. Oh, Odysseus. All right, sorry about that. Odysseus.
Characters.
What's your character again? What's your character type?
A whisper.
Is a whisper.
And what is your favored weapon?
I think right now I just have my hands.
I aggressively punch things.
Rending trees limb from limb. He is just a paragon of destructive violence against bush and shrub. And I stand behind with my sword cage just going like, you're doing a really good job, guys.
Nicely done. Okay.
I was just gonna reach in there and attempt to like wrench its head off. With my hands.
Absolutely. You get your hands deep into sort of the gnarled neck part, and you like grab at the heart of a cluster of roots. And while it is dense and wood-like, it's also oddly fleshy. And so as you start to pull, there's less of a like wood snap sound, more of like a sinew sort of tendon pull. Has kind of this elastic quality that eventually gives way, and yeah, it does sort of pop free. Okay.
Just sap everywhere.
Yeah, the full Dragon Age of bloody sap on the trio of you. Well, maybe not Throm. Throm was hanging in the back. If he does not want to be Dragon Aged, he does not have to be. I will leave that to him to decide.
Oh, you would never get his clothes that dirty.
Well,
And how much stress did I take total for that?
3 from the
3.
roll, and then 2 to enact the ability. So grand total of 5. Okay. Back to the front. What are you guys up to?
So I have a ghost key on my position just luck, as it may be. If we do need one. So, after, we're pretty much threatened by that tree that is alive, I think trying to make our way inside is probably smart.
Okay. So what action would you like to take as you attempt to avoid the tree?
I believe,
I have a different opinion about that, Carl, though.
Say it in character as the whomping willow branches come.
I will say, I see what you're thinking, and I will step towards the branches with no threatening gesture. And just palm out, and kind of like a dog, you're trying to like get it used to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how this tree is.
You can do that. I'm gonna
I'm-
use finesse and get the fuck back.
That's
Okay.
what
Personally.
I want to commune with the tree.
Okay.
My idea is maybe I can have the tree get the contract.
Okay. Let's start with the finesse roll.
Yep. 6.
6. You go dashing past the tree. A large branch comes sweeping over you. You do the like superhero dive roll, pop up to your feet, and you're still going. You glance over your shoulder. What action are you taking, Cedric?
Would Consort be the one to try to commune, or oh no, is there a commune? No, I want to connect to the tree because I can't see.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take. I feel like it's either command or sway, because consort is like go out with your friends and have a good time. You kind of gotta be on a positive footing, I believe, to consort. But if you think that is more appropriate, I'll give it to you this time.
I will give off the best body language aura that I can, that I've dealt with ghosts before, and I am non-threatening, hoping to gain leverage and possible contract.
Okay. I'm gonna say this is a low effect, a desperate move. Just so you know.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
4 and a 5.
So 5 is the better. You do approach. You have your hands up and out. You're making no hostile gestures, and then the branch. It's let you get closer to it, so you're not at like the apex of the swing, but definitely the whipping vines of the willow do catch you, and there is even without attuning to it or being able to hear the words of it, it's something in the snap of the whipping vines that just sounds like the word life, and you get the sense that it literally just hates anything that's alive. So I'm going to put down 1 effect for that. You are going to take the lacerated effect, which is a level 1 injury, and you can attempt to resist it if you would like.
I'm not going to. In the
Okay.
simple fact that I am flexing, that I'm not afraid.
Okay, sounds good. So that is a total of you guys are 3 effect off of the willow. What would you like to do, Caro?
I'm gonna just pretty much just yell back, like, come on, you got your answer, let's... Nope, I'm not here for this. Unless you really think you can make a contract with this thing, I'm out. You tell me.
I'm gonna say if you don't want to be here, of course yelling out loud, go find the others. I've got business here.
No, you're not being left alone. Then fine, I'll stay. You're not getting deaded. Not yet.
With that, the snapping and then it recoils, or I have enough time to touch.
You can touch the trunk.
Okay, I'm going to touch the trunk,
Okay.
and I know what I have on me in case it goes sour, so I'm keeping that in mind. However, I will enact the contract in an open statement. Like, again, I can't see this, so like, as a blind man, basically, I'm doing my best to give it a conversation that I can provide it life elsewhere other than here, if you tell me where the key is.
Okay. I can. So I'm not worried about attuning because they have physical manifestations, right? So it can hear you, it can interact with you. That I'm not worried about.
I can't hear it back as my like brick wall is, I'm guessing.
I mean, it doesn't. There's no ghost to talk. It's not. Even attuned, you couldn't see or hear a ghost because it is possessed. It's in a physical body. The tree is the physical body in this instance, but it's in a physical body.
Oh, so then I'd be talking to whatever's in a tree?
Yeah, that's yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to do.
Yes.
I misheard the whole. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so the ghosts, there are no ghosts here. Everything that's died has been bound into the trees. And this big tree in particular. So,
Like, the end goal of this is to, know where the key is because it's been here. It's
right.
experienced things, time especially, which is the most value I'm trying to get out of it.
Yeah.
And then I will make a deal in return of information to transport it elsewhere where there's more life. Because it's been with no life for a long time, so I'm hoping that's like leeway. Like, I can give you more life if you tell me where the key is.
Okay. Yeah, make a, what action would you like to use?
All of them are ones that I want to use except consort. So I'm gonna have to go with sway.
Okay.
'Cause
Yeah.
That's closest.
Yep.
That is a 5.
Okay. You get the response of the tree that it's continuing to thrash about. So it is going to lash you again, and we're just going to call it second lashes. So that should fill your other level 1, unless you would like to resist, which you are welcome to do.
No, this is my pleasure. So.
Okay.
No.
I'm going
You
to
lost
give.
somebody.
They're
Never
coming
mind.
back. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Welcome back. It's limited effect, because the tree doesn't know where the key is. So, as much as you are swaying it to not hit you, it just hates you. And you have a deal for it, but it can't hold up that end of the bargain. And so it is angrier as it goes.
Then I'm going to, in a sense, so I'm feeding my pleasure, right? Too late, then I should realize the exact situation is when it snaps. Like, oh yeah, this is bad. Karo, I need to listen to Kuro and get out. So I will try to snip a bit off the Weeping Willow, like leaf essence, anything that I can possibly replant.
Okay.
And what I had as my backup was my demolition tools. I'm just going to drop drop something not in the advanced form of Odysseus over here, more like just a basic boom, more like a dynamite, and I just light it and say, "You're lost," and I drop it and I run to Kara. I'm like, "We need to go now. I have 3 seconds."
Okay. Yeah, make a rec or tinker check.
Yes, it is a 1.
No.
No.
Okay. Let's see. So that's gonna have. You're gonna drop it, and it's going to have a. It's gonna hit the outside of the tree. The explosion is not terribly strong, but it is loud as it goes off. So I'm going to give you the level 2 harm deafened, which you can attempt to resist. But you would have
That
to.
I will try to resist, because that will snap me back out of my zone of pleasure and into reality.
Okay. What is your vice?
Pleasure.
What? Yes.
It's pain.
Pain. Got it. Okay. Good to know. Yeah, make a resolve test.
That's a 6.
Okay. You can take 2 stress to resist the deafened.
I'm marking it so I can resist.
Okay. Caro, now that he's finally gotten with the program, is there anything you would like to do to help him escape?
Yeah. I'm going to. Can I use finesse and just like grab and let's go?
Sure.
Okay. A 5.
I will follow wherever that pole is because my head hurts like a mother.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good. So with a 5, you are going to check the last 2 boxes for the success. You are also going to get lacerated, which is a level 1 harm. You can attempt to resist with...
Yeah.
You can resist with resolve. Because you can't... Because you're grabbing him, you can't dodge out of the way of it. So you just kind of got to gut it out.
What is my resolve under?
It is under resolve. So do you have anything in attune?
Oh, right. Attune. Yeah, sorry. I'm used to resolve being a vampire thing. So
Yes. All good. So yeah, your first dot in attune, command, consort, and sway. Add to your resolve.
I got it 6.
Okay. Yeah. So you're gonna resist it without taking any stress.
Yep.
Or you're gonna take 1 stress. Excuse me, because that is
fine.
that is a success. Criticals you get to resist without taking any stress. So I have to preserve that. You guys come bursting into the house. We're gonna jump back to our other side. Now that you guys are inside the Dunslow Manor, I am going to start a 6 clock that is decrepit. Anytime you fail, I may check a box on it, and when it is full, cave-ins happen. So, as you make it into the rear of the manor, you are coming into a sunroom that usually leads out onto this grand patio. The marbled stone is still there. The doors have rotted. All of the windows, the wood of the doors have rotted in the back. The windows have mostly been shattered. And as you go to open the door, it slips off of the hinges as the rotted wood sort of collapses. A little louder than you might have hoped, but it is quiet enough. You can see that there is the dining hall to the right from the rear entrance, left from the front. There is the kitchen in the opposing hallway. Down there, towards the front of the house, is the library. Most of this place, any furniture, any wall hangings or decorations were stripped out. Much of the walls here have been shattered, or not shattered, but like the walls have been torn down. The wood has been broken. There are different piles of fires have been lit. You suspect from derelicts and homeless that have tried to take up shelter here. And so immediately you can see this is a dangerous place just for the state of it. My backdoor team, where would you guys like to go and explore?
I want to check out the master bedroom.
Okay. From your research, you know that is up on the 3rd floor.
I want to go down to the basement, but do we see Caro and Cedric?
You guys get there. You don't see them yet. There's walls in between you and the front. You can check the front and see if they've made it inside the house yet.
Well, I know I'm gonna have to make my way towards the staircase leading to the servants' quarters, so that's gonna be in the middle of the house area, if I wrote this correct.
That's near the kitchen hallway. The grand staircase is in the middle that leads upstairs. That's where Throm should be headed.
Okay. Yeah, well, my original plan is still going to the basement, so. Hi, Raiders.
Hey,
Welcome
Nerd
in.
Asylum. Thank you guys so much for the raid. Welcome. We're playing Blades in the Dark. We're in a haunted manor in Dunslow. We just made it past some crystalline ghost trees. So, welcome. Have a good time. And, yeah. Odysseus.
Yeah, so I'm going to the basement.
Go into the basement? Okay. Without checking the front for Caro and Cedric.
If I see him, I see him. If I don't, I don't.
Sounds good. Odysseus, which way are you headed?
I would like to check the front to see if they've made it in yet, but after that, I would like to head to the kitchen.
Okay. Yeah. Odysseus, as you head to the front and checking things, you're sort of alongside, a little behind maybe Throm, who's starting to make his way up the staircases. And let me see if I know how to do the things that Caitlin normally does. Is that how I do that? Ah, there we go. Did a good thing. Nice to see you guys. You do see them. They're busting in through the front door a little more hurriedly than you guys had been. You can hear the snapping whips of the willow from the front, and there are little flecks of like ghost crystal embedded in the cheek and face of both of them. You do notice that Cedric has part of his clothing been lacerated in a couple of places. Yeah.
Are you two having a good time without me?
On different levels, yes.
No, I was not, but we're fine.
How
Got
do I
stuff
look?
for you though, so hey, there's that. No empty hands.
We'll deal with that later. Did you find anything?
We just got here, so no.
I lost track of time with dealing with the tree. Yeah.
It came alive.
Now that you put it that way, it sounds really weird. So we
had
fought a
yeah.
tree.
We had living topiaries out the back, so that tracks.
Oh, well, we're not alone there then. I grabbed this one before they can get snatched, so it's been a night. This house is a little bit more pleasant at this moment.
I was fine, though the
You
idea
weren't?
didn't work. I didn't get information on the key, so I had a great time.
Well, it's not the same ghost key I have, then I don't know what we're talking about. We could always try mine at first, though.
Yours would probably work.
Maybe. But yeah. So where are we going? Or what do you guys want to do?
I was going to try to check the kitchen and see if there was a stairwell down to the sub-basement.
I'll follow.
Yeah, I'll go in there. There may be something I can wrap these up because I'm still bleeding.
Okay. Let's bounce over to Throm, who has made his way up the stairs, up onto the second staircase. Throm, the second floor, you can already feel that the wood here is dangerous, and you're constantly having to like test your step, make sure that you're not gonna put a foot through the floorboards as you are going. You make your way into the grand dining hall, which has been entirely wrecked. You can tell there was a grand dining table here that has been chopped down, broken up. They couldn't get it out of the house, like it was built in the house. So they just left it, and people have come, broken it apart, burnt it for firewood, for warmth, all of that sort of stuff. You can see the staircase, what remains of the staircase, seems mostly intact at the back of this hallway. But between you and there are clearly falling apart, broken boards and shattered handrails, guardrails. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna go for broke and try to finesse my way over there.
Okay. That sounds good.
Oh, I got a 1.
Oof.
Yeah, go team 1.
Okay. As you go, so it's a risky maneuver. It's not desperate yet. But I'm going to say, as you go clicking along, I'm going to give you, we're going to do a four beat clock, get to the master bedroom. I'm going to give you 1 on that. I'm going to click 3 boxes of the houses falling apart. And you're going to take the level 1 harm, tore my pants, as your foot goes through the floorboard. It tears away at your nice clothes and leaves a little bit of like a cut, a very shallow scratch cut up your thigh, and you sort of are down almost on your butt. You pull your leg out, you keep going, hopping your way and shimmying as best as you can. It stings. You make it to the end and begin to ascend the staircase that is there. You can, since you've finessed your way this far, I will let you survey if you want to survey or study the stairs to see if there's a good way of getting up these without hurting yourself. Other than that, I think prowl is your other option here.
Okay, I'll attempt to study. So I have... Now, how does it work for the things that are unticked as opposed to the one that just have 1 tick?
You roll 2 and you take the lower, so it's like rolling with disadvantage.
Okay, I would have had to do that on the finesse, but I rolled a 1 anyway, so it doesn't matter.
So that's about as bad as we can get.
All right, study. I didn't do very well on that. I got a 2.
You got a 2? Okay. So you're going to make your way up the top of the staircase, and you did this weird like straddle thing where you're standing on like where the guardrails are, where the handrails are, and you get up to the top. You've made it up the staircase. You're looking around. You see the double doors, the French double doors for the master bedroom. You're like, okay, take a look. Looks good. You start to make your way over there. The floor gives out from underneath you. And because we have filled the house's decrepit box, you are going to fall a full level down back into the grand balcony, grand hall where you just were. So we're going to give you the level. You could always try to resist harm. So you can try to resist the split my pants first if you would like. And then the second one is going to be a level 2 harm of my back.
Okay, yes. I assume I would use prowess for that, of which I have nothing.
Yes. So use if you want to try to resist for the pant split, use prowess. For the back, I will let you use resolve because you can't dodge out of the way of it. You just gotta tough it out.
Okay, yeah, I won't even bother to make the prowess roll since I have nothing, but since I've got 4 in resolve, that's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. Make the resolve.
So is that 4 dice?
4 dice.
Okay, if I don't get a 6 on these 3, I'll re-roll 1.
Yeah. So you have 1 in attune, at least 1 in attune, 1 in command, 1 in consort, and 1 in sway.
Correct.
Perfect. Yep.
Okay, so the highest I rolled was a 5.
Okay. Great. So you are going to reduce the back pain to slightly bruised, which is a level 1 effect, and you're going to take on 5. You're going to take 2 points of stress to do it.
Okay, got that marked.
Okay. You're going to finish making your way. Now that you've broken the floor, you can kind of make your way back to the master bedroom. I'm going to check back in on you in just a minute. Over to Nephthys. You make it downstairs first as the other 3 are regrouping and going to be coming behind you shortly. I'm going to start a clock for you called Something in the Dark.
That's fine because I was looking through my items and I already planned on having dark sight goggles if they do what I think they do.
Yes, they for sure do what you think they do. Yes. Go ahead. What would you like to do?
Well, because I knew that the party would split up at this point, I wanted to have the dark sight goggles.
Sure.
I wanted to clarify before I walked into the house because I know nobody else took a lantern, at least to my knowledge. I would enter with the sight goggles on.
Sure. Absolutely. As you make your way down the spiral staircase into the servants' quarters, your sense, having spent a lot of time in dark, damp, and dangerous places, is telling you that there is something dangerous down here. You don't see it yet, but you can see in the dark. So that's going to give you bonus effect on any survey or study checks that you make while those are on and in the dark.
Cool. Well, in that case, another thing, can I hear that the party is approaching?
They will be shortly, unless you wanted to wait for them, which is perfectly.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go fully in. I just want to, as you said, go in, peek, see what's going on. Because rogues don't just enter.
That's true. That is not the roguey way.
No. So yeah, I'm just checking my surroundings, and because you said I can survey or study, I'm gonna survey. I have a pip in that, so I just
Awesome.
use one.
That's correct.
I hate my life. It's a 1.
It's a 1. Okay.
Of course it's a 1.
As you're standing there in sort of the cool damp of the cellar. You are looking around. You're listening. You don't see it, but something with something with terrible long sort of finger claws come sweeping out of the darkness from behind you just as you've turned your head. You were in a risky situation. It had a moderate effect. So we're going to call this a level 2 deep gash. Bit of harm. You can attempt to resist it. I'm going to say it has to be a resolve, though, because you couldn't see it coming.
I will make an attempt. It's better than nothing. I have 0 pips, but I would rather try.
Yeah.
Three.
Okay. So you can reduce it to just a cut, which is a level 1 harm, but it's going to cost you 3 stress. Deep in thought. I'm going to say that Nephthys makes just enough of a grunt or a yelp for the rest of you to come sort of downstairs post-haste. Just at the
I'll
bottom.
take the cut.
Okay. You're going to take the level
Yeah.
2?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the 2.
Okay. Do you remember at level 2 you start having dice penalties?
That's fine.
Okay.
And also to clarify, because I got hurt in the last one with the stab, I healed up, and the only thing I have left is a level 1 wound, so that's still on me, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify before we continued.
Yes, when you fill the healing box, everything shifts down. So a level 3 becomes a level 2, level 2 becomes level 1, level 1 goes off the sheet. Okay. Caro, Cedric, Odysseus, you guys come down the stairs, and you're looking at Nephthys, who's kind of checking the series of finger cuts, just Freddy Krueger style, along her back over the shoulder blade. What would you like to do?
Gonna light a lantern.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
Does this affect my vision at all because of my goggles?
No, we'll call them
Okay.
like transition lenses. You guys cast your lanterns around. Are you making survey actions
Yeah,
or study actions?
Yeah, I'm trying to see.
Actually, hunt might be better. You know there's something in here. You're trying to track it down. So I think either survey or hunt would be...
I want to survey.
Okay. Go for
All
it.
I've got is study, so
Ooh, 6.
Ooh, on a
My
6.
dice like me today.
Nice.
It's good, baby.
Nicely done. So with a 6, I'm going to close the something in the dark, and I'm going to open a... because of the lanterns, you guys have bonus effect, right? So it's a 4 tick, 2 lanterns, bonus effect, we added up, blah, blah, blah. We're going to switch it to Mutant Madness. You see in the darkness here 2 milk white eyes that sort of shift into a almondy orange and then into a red. And out of the darkness, you see, dressed in what is tattered, now rags, but clearly the remnants of old servants' clothes, a maid in a butler's uniform. First the maid, and then you see there's another one. These humanoid figures whose hair has turned to feathers and whose teeth are serrated and long. Their fingers have stretched longer. They look demonic. They look as though they have been... you as a Whisper would know they are not possessed. They have been mutated by the presence of a demon. Demons do not show up in the ghost world. They exist as primal, pure forces here in the material. And so something demonic is locked in here, has kept them alive, and has mutated them over the course of 400 years.
Can I use my attune to try to figure out, see if I could locate whatever that might be?
Specifically, no, because they do not exist on the ghost realm.
Okay.
Actually, attune, I think, because attune has some more magical implications than that. I will let you do that. Yes.
Okay.
I would like to do the same.
Oh, nope.
Okay.
I got a 1. I can't tell anything. I'm blind. Looks like demons to me, babies.
What was that, Odysseus?
A 1.
Both of you with the 1 are going to... you're going to take the condition in the grip of the of the mutants. You are grappled, and you are being dragged into... So as you guys sort of start to shift into your ghost vision, they come rushing forward, the pair of them. They sort of tackle you, and now caveman style are dragging you into the darkness. I'm going to give both of you, because you have this extra bad condition, but I am going to give you guys both a level 1 terrified harm, which you can resist with insight, maybe resolve. I'll take either, insight or resolve.
4.
Okay. So you can...
Also a 4.
So you both lose the terrified condition, but you're going to take 2 points of stress to do so.
Yep.
Cedric, what are you up to? You come downstairs. You see the cut in the back of Nephthys, and as your whispers begin to focus their energies, they are dragged into the darkness. Their lanterns flailing about rave style.
I'm not knowledgeable about these, so as a reaction, I'm just gonna beam the light and chase them down.
Okay.
I'm thinking they're afraid of light because they haven't seen light in who knows how long. That's just my mental thought. Maybe they don't like light; they'll drop and hiss and something.
Cool. Yeah. Let's make it a hunt action, and we're gonna call it. You're in control. So yeah, limited effect. 5? Okay. Yeah. As you come rushing forward with the light, they're not so much afraid of the light, but they definitely have an aversion to it. You piece together that it's less about the light itself, more about the fire. They really don't like fire, which the lantern is on fire. And as you approach one of them, they are going to hurl a chunk of rock just sort of at you. You will have the prone condition unless you make a prowess resistance.
I'll go prone.
Okay. Yeah, so the rock comes flying at you. You stumble backwards, hit the deck, but it doesn't hit you. It goes whizzing past. You guys have been through the round. Who's up?
I'll start because I was top of round.
Sure.
Wait, actually, where is
Throm.
Throm?
Throm is Throm just fell through the floor and is crawling
so it's still us.
crawling back upstairs. I'm going to get to him after this round.
Okay. Well, obviously, I'm kind of pissed because I'm bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully, they're kind of distracted because Mr. Lantern over here has their focus. So I'm going to see if I can... I can only do one action, I'm going to assume. I mean, they know I'm there, so I can't prowl around them.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to wait and have somebody else distract them, so to set up your prowl, you could do that.
I don't know if it's too late for everybody else. That's the thing.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. Damn. All right, I'll just do what I do best and try and skirmish these things.
Okay. Sounds good.
So, blades out. Gonna roll. Whoever's closer to me. Is it the maid or the butler?
It's either, which one do you want?
Well, I don't know. Both of our whispers are taken down, so it's just a matter of who's closer, that's all.
Odysseus.
Okay, Odysseus. I'm gonna try and rescue you. Hope it works with all these ones today.
I had too many 6s that I had to roll 2 1s apparently, so like it's fine.
Do you have any level 2 injuries?
I do. I have 2 pips in skirmish, and I rolled a 6.
Nice. Okay. So yeah, you're gonna come skirmishing up. What skirmishing are you doing?
I have my blades.
Your blades?
I'm going to cut a bitch.
Okay. Yeah, so we're gonna take 3 on this 6 o'clock. The blades come out. They cut into quite well into the bitch. It lets out this guttural scream, and Odysseus is dropped. As it sort of guts and coughs and spits. Who's up?
Have I initial? So is this after prone that we can do something?
Yeah.
Like after.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to. I brought a blade or 2.
Yep.
I'm gonna dip that in the kerosene or what is fueling the lantern and light it.
Okay.
And go for the creature. I'm gonna go for Odysseus's creature that's dealing with her now.
Caro. Odysseus is gone. Odysseus is dead. Odysseus is fine. The person, but the creature is dead. So.
Oh, so it's the other one.
There you go.
Okay, the one then the one on Caro. I'm gonna go after it because it doesn't like fire, and it's a blade that can get fire inside it. That's my thought.
Yeah, perfect. It's great. I'm gonna give you. So here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna give you a 2 bonus effect for the blade being on fire. So even if you roll a 1, you're gonna do great. But it is gonna be risky. It's gonna be desperate because if you misoil the blade, you risk setting the house on fire.
Not thinking of the consequences.
Perfect. So there you go. Go for it.
Okay, so then it'd be what on this one?
You get to tell me. I would think skirmish or wreck, maybe finesse.
My skirmish is best.
That sounds like the best one to me too.
That's a 6.
Ooh, nicely done. No negative effect. With skill, you open the lantern. Your blade darts in. You don't even have to oil it. It's got like a thick wick, and you use the wick almost like a whetstone to catch both the blade and the oil as you draw it across, and with a flick of it, the little droplets of fire come spraying across. The creature sort of shuns, and in that moment of hesitation, you are on your feet, and fiery knife in its ribs, in its torso. Like tinder, its dry skin just sort of bursts up and then is out as it falls onto the ground. No scream, the flames having collapsed its lungs. No wind to pass through its vocal cords.
Then I'll have a realization that now we definitely don't know where the key is. But my mind's just elsewhere in Pleasureland right now.
If you all don't mind, over to Throm. Throm, you have surmounted the stairs and the hole, the tricksy hole. You have made it over to the master bedroom. As you cast it open, the place is relatively barren, unfortunately. It does look like you can see where the bed frame was at one point, and you can see where like dressers and armoires previously were. There was a closet that seems mostly empty. What would you like to do?
I'd like to search where the bed used to be near the headboard.
I will take study or survey.
Okay, I'll go with, I think, study, because I think I have one in that.
Awesome. Do you have a level 2 wound?
No, just 2 level 1s.
Great. Sounds good.
I got a 2.
Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a fall forward here, but you're gonna take an effect that cannot be resisted, and that is going to be haunted by visions is going to be it. So at some point, terrible visions are going to rush across your mind. That I am going to use later. But you study the area, and over by the headboard, you can definitely see where the wall is dented from its vigorous application. But there is a specific sort of dent in the wood that seems odd. It doesn't match up with the lineup of the rest of the headboard, and you can see that there's a newer piece of wood there, almost as though one of these panels was broken open when they moved out of here, and when they moved the stuff down into the basement. There is definitely a secret compartment, and so you go searching sort of in that compartment. The key is not there, but there is a Sonoria family crest. Not very big, about the size of a plate. Seems important. It's extremely well made. It's gilded with gold and silver. And as you remove it from the wall, a rush of violent images assaults your senses. There is the sounds of screams and begging, and the cracking of whips, the rattling of chains. the you definitely get the sense that at its foundation here in Duskfall, the Sonarians were a very cruel family. You look at the crest on the back. The crest definitely has like mounts that seem clockwork and mechanical in nature, or warded in nature. This is important for sure. With that, we are at 11:30. You guys are close to the end of the heist. Do you want to push through and finish tonight? Do you want to finish this heist next week and do the downtime activities next week?
Can we finish this tonight
Sure.
and do next week?
It is up to people. I don't
If
know.
anybody is down.
I'm fine with finishing
I'm
up.
okay.
I can try. I just can't go much past 12 because I've got to work in the morning.
Understood. I think we are close. We'll skip through some things here. Not
Okay.
skip through some things, but I will take out the obvious. What would you guys like to do? You find the stairs and you go downstairs. I know that's what you want to do, but sometimes it's always the times when I'm like, players want to go downstairs. They're like, I want to go everywhere but downstairs. I'm like, okay, well, there you go. Throm, you rejoin the group. Do you do anything to protect yourself from the family crest?
Since I saw that it was obviously magical, I would have probably wrapped it up. Just
Perfect. Yeah. What do you want to wrap it in?
A piece of my pants, because they're ruined anyway, and I say some extremely off-color remarks about that because they were really nice, expensive pants.
Yeah, well tailored too. So Throm is making his way downstairs. He has this dinner-sized plate crest wrapped up. I'm now imagining, so it's like one full pant leg, the other one he's just ripped off. So he's got like the one like thigh showing short.
Yeah, and part of my hilariously large cod piece is hanging out.
Clearly. As Throm comes making his way in, you guys have searched through the servants' quarters and areas. From what you piece together, these were the original employees that were left to tend to the place when the Sonarians moved out. And after losing contact, it seems like they just never followed back up. Right? The staircase leading down into the
storage.
Thank you. I was looking for cellar. I appreciate it. The storage cellar. As you make your way towards the door, my whispers do feel a heavy magical presence that is attuned in this place. You can sense the thick, sort of wavering energy. What would you guys like to do?
Attempt to attune.
I
Sure.
was about to say the same.
Go for it.
6.
Nice. We'll call it a collective 6. No stress garnered from that. There is definitely a ward here, and it is set up that people entering this hallway would be sort of assaulted with the visions of the cruelty of this family, except the ward is sort of pushed back by the plate, that the crest, the family crest that Throm has brought with him. You make your way to the door. It is locked. It's a heavy metal door.
You want?
I want to try my ghost key.
Okay.
See what happens. Why not?
Sure. Yeah. Roll me a. I'll tell you what. Roll me 1d6.
Okay. 5.
It fits, but it doesn't turn.
Dang it.
So of similar make, but not appropriate.
Tried.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I brought a burglary kit because I figured we might have to break into this place.
Fantastic. That sounds good.
Yeah, because if not, I was gonna say I have fine lock picks from my locksmith friend.
Okay. So who's finessing or tinkering?
I have Tinker.
Okay.
Go for it.
Five.
Okay. Yeah, you get the tools in there. They are going to be sort of destroyed in the process. We'll call that the cost of the 5, but it does pop open. And as you all step in, there is a light that shines from the roof of this place. It is sort of a firelight, and you can hear music in the back. And as you step in, there is a primal demonic force that is in this room. It has clawed feet, very humanoid. It's tall. It stands taller than the roof. You realize that the roof between here and the servants' quarters, it doesn't exist. It's been shattered and broken away. You didn't see that from upstairs, so something very odd is going on. And even beyond that, the floor between the basement and the ground floor is shattered and broken as well. That's where the fire is, in the great hall, in that dining hall. And it sounds of a party. And as you listen to the music that is there, it is tinged and toned with screams. It is as though it is a symphony composed of the suffering of people. The demonic force that is there, its feathery fur grown into a fine suit, sort of looks over at you and runs a meaty hand through its plumage. And that's a meal. Come to join the party, have we? Hello. And it sort of kneels a little bit and creeps forward, looking over all of you. That's not the usual door they take.
At the sight of the demonic entity, Odysseus would have just turned white because he's got a demon enemy, and so seeing another demon is like, oh fuck.
Absolutely.
I'm happy. I haven't stopped smiling since you've been describing this thing.
Good to know.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm an unwanted visitor. So I will not be going to your party. However, I usually don't make deals with demons. I'm better with ghosts.
They are capricious, aren't they? Ghosts.
Oh, but it's oh so fun. The pain and torture, I'm sure you can relate, is very sensual. So,
I'm just gonna
that's
blatantly interrupt and be like, "Hey, for any particular reason, you wouldn't happen to know where a key is?"
Key.
I'm still smiling. Everything that's happening, I'm like, yeah, I like this.
No. I don't know anything about a key.
So why are you here?
No. It's where the pain began. There's a cruelty to this place. I like to keep that sort of vibe alive. I would like my whispers to make study checks.
Three.
5.
Okay. Odysseus, there's something you've heard of before called a ghost room. It's a part of a place out of step and out of time. And it seems that is what you're looking at above the roof, and that's what this demon has been using to lure derelicts and homeless that wander into this house into the hall, and they fall down here, in which he begins his work, and then they grow into the trees that are out front.
Would explain this to the party as a pocket dimension where he fertilizes the ground with the dead and then causes them to grow into the plant life that surrounds the manor.
You know, that explains a lot. I kind of like tried piecing that together, but you know, when you say it, got it.
I'm just in awe.
my rudeness. I do apologize for. I am Cedric Vale. Who might you be?
Luscious.
Good to meet you, Lashes.
Wait,
You are.
sorry, was that luscious or nauseous?
Lashes.
Oh, lashes. Sorry, lashes.
You are a gardener of souls, to put it in my understanding. They've been dead. What say you to a flock of living that can potentially fuel both the living and the dead? So you don't lose value.
I do appreciate fresh instruments.
I do know of such a place, and it's
Oh.
very fruitful.
Where is that?
Dunwall.
Yes.
So what I
remember Dunwall very well.
it is still thriving, and you can certainly have a new garden. And my offer is just one simple task. Being that you're the composer in that symphony up there, if you help us find what we're looking for here, you may not find it, they may know it because they've lived here, I'm guessing. Someone up in there should know. if we can find this key, then Dunwall is yours for the farming.
For the farming, yes. What say you to that? And as it looks down through the fur and through the plumage, you see a second, smaller face that sort of peeks through. That sounds delightful, brother. We always did appreciate fresh ground. That's right. We're going to finally move, aren't we? That's right. We are.
Oh God, it's the twins.
Throm, because I know this was he was onto this. He who's unwell at the moment. Please feel better soon. Takes a study, a survey look around. You can tell that there is some. This is a large storage area. There is some furniture here. In fact, the head of the master bed, is the headboard of it, is up against one of the walls, just behind the demon. And he sort of leans over and whispers, "There's a hidden compartment in the wall behind the headboard."
Just for the sake of making it go a little bit faster, I will take over for Throm.
Sure.
I don't have his character sheet, but
I got you.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I could see what's behind there?
No.
With all hell's respect.
No. Go ahead. You can have whatever you find and want. All you have to do is shatter that. And he points to the plate, to the crest.
Because it's the ward that's holding you here, I'm assuming.
Yes.
I know that Cedric wants to take you to a place of fresh bodies, but if ever you decide to travel, I kill people for a living. And I'm like super excited while explaining everything.
I would like to take that crest and try to go over to the headboard, because I had also been putting together that there was something having to do with that.
Okay. Yeah, you take the crest. You head over there. He seems to have an aversion to it, but not a like he could probably still reach out and grab you. It's not protection, but it definitely lessens the demon's ability to affect you. But the ward was sort of over the house. You feel that as you carry it through. You do make it past the headboard. Having the headboard up against the bed where it came from, you can see it fits in there, right? Removes the warding from the wall, and with minimal amount of effort, you are able to open the compartment. And within it, you do find the ghost key that was drawn and promised to you.
Can I keep conversation with Lashes while she's just doing her thing? I'm getting so bad at this. I'm sorry. While he goes around, and with a conversation is creating a pseudo contract, because I know demons like deals, and I am a deal maker.
Yes. You are so if you agree to shatter the ward, he's not going to mess with you. That'll be that's sort of the deal that you are making. Is this what you're intending to upkeep?
Can I add one last PS kind of thing to it?
Sure. What do you want to add?
That we will not be targeted,
Mm-hmm.
as we live in a around the surrounding area. And you will not touch the family. What is her name?
Alexandria Sonaria.
Sonaria's family.
He agrees.
In payment, I could be a vessel for pleasures that demons like to do, just to sweeten the deal.
Good to know. Noted.
I will say I would not have gone with the crest people. I'm just too enamored.
Not a problem.
I will say that I would have pulled Cedric aside for just a minute and asked him if he just bargained with all of those innocent homeless people.
Well, he said Duskfall, so the whole city. Dunslow is the
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
unless you had different intentions, Cedric, which you can clarify.
Nope, I'm sweetening the deal.
Okay. He's on board. The deal goes through. You all acquire the key, and your heist is complete. Nicely done, guys. You will get paid a grand total of basically 1 coin per person, including the people that are not here. And you've already acquired and spent the smuggler's coin. So what I would like to do is that we're going to say goodnight so that the people that need to go for work purposes are able to do so. And over the course of this week, we'll get our experience points in line, because that is still a bit of a process. If you guys have some time to stick around tonight afterwards, I can do that with those of you that are able to. But great game, great time. What'd you guys think? Did you enjoy it? Second heist, go okay?
Yeah,
Demons are fun.
definitely. Yeah, demons are much better than explosive and souls crying. That's good.
Very, very cool. Yeah, so you guys did a great job. You'll get a little rep from this. Very low heat. You did it super quiet. You didn't. You could have caused a lot of commotion again. Very impressive. So nicely done. Thank you guys for a wonderful game. Thanks for sticking it out the extra 20, 30 minutes here. And thank you guys for watching, all the raiders and all the love and support the entire community gives both myself and Pixie. So we are going to say good night. I'm going to put you guys on the exit channel. If you want to stick around, I'm going to try to find a raid. I don't know how to do that. I'm on my own today. So we'll see.
Raid, you do /raid and then @name.
As soon as I find a channel to raid, that is what I'm looking for. Thank you guys so much. We will see you guys next time. But until then,